Funding for Georgia Outdoors has been made possible in part by the Imlay Foundation and from viewers like you.
I adopted my Goldendoodle when she was 5 months old. I didn't expect her to get quite this big. But since then, Jessi has been my constant companion. At home, I was afraid to travel with her, worried that she would get loose and lost. Well, I decided to get over my fears and get myself a new companion to hit the road.
First stop is Red Top Mountain State Park on Lake Allatoona. It's close to Atlanta, and I was able to rent a dog-friendly cabin. I drove around the park to get my bearings. Jessi was happy with her head out the window because I won't let her do that in Atlanta traffic. I pulled into the driveway of our home away from home.
All right, let me get your seatbelt up. Come here. Wait, Jessi. Let me get off your seatbelt. Hold on. You ready? Come on. Can you just crawl across my seat? The car's so dirty it doesn't matter. Come on, let's go. You need to go potty? Nope. Okay. All right, you ready? You smell smells, huh? All right, we're gonna stay in here. Come on. Nice.
Once we settled in, the porch became our favorite place. It's so calm here, and Jessi was on her best behavior.
Come here, Jessi. Come here and sit down. Jessi, sit. Down. No, stay. You stay. Jess, come here. No. Are you a sweet girl? You a sweet girl? Yeah. Yes, you are.
There are 20 cottages on the water's edge. Not all of them are dog-friendly, so if you want to rent, make a reservation ASAP. I chose to go in the middle of the week, and it was like we had the park to ourselves. Later, we met up with Assistant Manager Sharon Kelley, who gets to call this his office.
So how cool is it to work at a park every day?
It's one of the biggest blessings you could imagine. My commute to work is very minimal. One of the compensations that I have with my job is we actually live here on park. So for us, coming to work in the morning usually takes 5-10 minutes at the most.
Oh,
so there's
nice.
no traffic, no headache with road work or construction. But also when I come to work, I'm at work in the woods. And that's one of the most peaceful things that you could even ask for.
And this is kind of special. You don't find many hardwood parks anymore, do you?
No, due to a lot of urban areas, also logging and activities, even from the 1800s, people were using wood for all sorts of resources. It's real hard to find natural hardwood forests like you see at Red Top Mountain State Park. It's one of the fortunate things that we have here. You get a rustle of the leaves in the wind. That's real peaceful as well.
How many dog lovers do you have? Because I know, like I'm staying in a dog-friendly cabin, but a lot of people camping bring their dogs. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am, that's right. We see lots of folks with dogs out camping, whether they're in RVs or they're out tent camping, even especially. The RV folks seem to always have an animal, whether it's a cat or a dog. We've even seen birds out on perches and in cages out by the campsite fires and things like that. But we do have dog-friendly cottages for folks who want to travel with their animals. We always want you to be sure and check out reservations for those things. You can make reservations for the cottages 13 months in advance.
There are 93 tent or RV campsites, and because this park is only about 2 hours from Atlanta and less than 3 miles from Interstate 75, things can fill up fast.
This is the first trip I've taken with Jessi, so you were our first choice.
Perfect. I'm glad you decided to come here, Jessi. Thanks for coming. Yeah, all of our trails here at Red Top Mountain are dog friendly. We do have a trail that has multi-use. It's our Iron Hill Trail. People are allowed to mountain bike on that trail. So if you have a dog that's sensitive to tires or things moving rather quickly with them, just be aware of that if you decide to come out and hike the Iron Hill Trail at Red Top Mountain State Park. But most of the trails here are very peaceful. There's a chance you'll see deer or bunny rabbits crossing the trails.
There are more than 15 miles of trails here. Red Top got its name because of the reddish soil caused by a high iron ore content. I didn't see the red, but iron is still in the ground, and there used to be a lot of iron mines here. It's a beautiful park now, and you just don't think about mining when you look around. All the state parks in Georgia have a unique charm, and all of them are dog-friendly. Kim Hatcher handles public affairs for the parks.
Well, we know that your dogs are your four-legged family members, and we want you to be able to bring them to the state parks and enjoy being outside. They like hiking just as much as we do, and they like exercise. They need exercise just like we do. We hear a lot from dog owners. They especially want to come and spend the night inside the parks. They want to be able to bring their dogs with them. So all of our campgrounds are dog friendly. We actually have almost 100 cabins that are dog friendly all across the state. So you know ahead of time that you can bring your dog with you.
You can join the Tails on Trails Club. It challenges you to hike at 12 of the 42 participating parks.
So you buy a membership card, and it's $20, and it challenges you to hike at 12 of 42 participating Georgia state parks. And you go on your own, there's no time limit.
And there is a nifty t-shirt for you and a scarf for your pup.
Thank you for the t-shirt. I love it.
Good.
Plus it matches her leash.
Yeah, I did. Well, I wondered if you had planned purple on purpose.
I know. I mean, even her bling, like her collar and everything. It's all.
That's cute.
Often the parks have ranger-led hikes, so people who like hiking with their dogs can explore it with a park expert. But all the parks ask you keep your dog on a leash.
Even if your dog is the type that's going to stay right with you and is used to hiking without a leash, we still want you to keep it on leash, because you don't know what's going to happen when you come upon somebody else who has a dog while they're hiking, or wildlife. They might see a deer or a fox. That might get them really excited, and you never know if your dog's going to go off trail and chase them.
Yep, I was just lucky Jessi didn't see this. She would have been hard to handle.
I know. Get back in the car. Get back in the car.
Our next venture was just a day trip to a waterfall off the beaten path.
No, this way. Come on, Jessi. Pull your old mama up the trail. I know. We've never done anything like this before. Up you go. Come on. Come on. Up, up, up. All right, now we're on the trail. Come on. Up you go. Let's go. Let's go.
And there she is, Minnehaha, in my opinion, one of the prettiest waterfalls in the state. Not the tallest, not the most famous, but a staircase of beauty tucked away off of a dirt road near Lake Rabun. Minnehaha Falls is a series of cascades located on Falls Creek in Rabun County. The waterfall descends about 100 feet down the rock formation. Jessi wouldn't even look at it.
Your first waterfall. You see it? You don't look impressed. Look how pretty it is. All this and you don't even look at the waterfall? There you go. Come on, Jess. Up. Come on, up you go. No, you stay up here. Now, I've got you. You're not going to get hurt, okay?
Once all the drama of getting here was over, it paid off with some peaceful time in a magical spot.
Hey, Michael. Thanks so much for coming up to meet us.
Sure.
I asked Michael Crow of Bear Gap Outfitters to join us.
So, what's it like to have an outfitter company? I mean, you've got boats and all kinds of stuff.
It's a joy all the time, and here we tend to do things we like to do. We meet people from all over the United States, canoes, kayaks, paddleboards, pontoons. It's a great time. It's certainly an endless supply of things to do, especially here in Rabun County.
They also do waterfall tours. North Georgia is known for its falling water. There are more than 120 waterfalls in that region. Few are as tempting to approach as Minnehaha. Michael always worries about people climbing on the rocks.
So, I've been up here in August when there were kids playing on those rocks.
Yes.
Because you also do search and rescue, right?
I volunteer with Search and Rescue and Fire Department. Unfortunately, the beauty of the waterfalls and all of our waterfalls that we have here is a little misleading. Very slippery, and then of course we do have our incidents. So if our guests decide to come to Minnehaha, we always recommend don't climb the waterfall.
Yeah, climbing a waterfall just doesn't make much sense, but I saw little kids and their parents was watching them.
Yeah, that's about 90 feet to the top, and it's very slippery.
You have had to rescue people
Yes,
from
we have had quite a few that have fallen off the top of the waterfalls all the way to the bottom. Yep. So among the beauty of all the falls that we have in and around Rabun County, safety first. I think that's paramount.
It's also the reason I keep Jessi on a tight leash. There are plenty of waterfalls with boardwalks and paved trails, but this day trip seemed a little more adventurous.
I thought you might wonder how the big Goldendoodle fits in my tiny little car. Well, I bought this foam rubber cube and it backs right up to the edge of the seat. And she just jumps up in here and curls up in a ball and goes to sleep. I bought this to hook onto her harness so when I open the door she doesn't go flying out. But she's comfortable, has a good time, sleeps, and that's a good thing because we're going to go to Savannah next and that will be a haul. You stay. Hang on, I know, it's been 4 hours in the car. Good girl. No. Do you need my keys? Okay. I got some junk to get out.
All right, this is how you get the key back from us.
Okay.
Our service is 24/7. Thank you. You can come and go as much as you please.
Okay.
We'll be right over there if you need anything. Just bring that ticket right down to us. We'll get it pulled up for you immediately.
You know I'm going to lose it.
Take a picture of it, just in case
I took his advice, a good thing because I did lose that little ticket. We're staying at the Kempton Bryce, one of the first dog-friendly hotels in Savannah.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome into the Bryce. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good, good. Last name on the reservation?
Collins.
All right. Hi, pups. What's the pup's name?
Jessi. This is
Hi,
Jessi.
Jessi. Can I give Jessi a treat?
Of course you can.
Treat for you, Jessi.
There are dogs everywhere. I wasn't sure how this would work out, but all the dogs were well-behaved and friendly. I didn't know how Jessi would handle this, but she did not embarrass me. Watching other guests with their dogs is part of the fun at this hotel.
What's her name? Jessi. Jessi. This is Lex. Lex,
And so it goes in the hotel. People who have dogs want to meet dogs that belong to other people. It makes for a great social setting. But at this point, I was ready to collapse. Driving for hours, the stress of the unknown, and maneuvering a suitcase and a big dog through the hotel was enough for one day.
Yes, I know you've had a rough day today, haven't you? It was a long drive. Yes, but you're a good girl. You're a good girl.
That afternoon, we hired Savannah Pedicab for a tour in the historic district. Dave Wiseman has been doing this for a long time.
So, David, how often do you have dogs come along?
Every once in a while. I'd say the first ride I ever had was a dog. It was a big old Rottweiler on the back. I still remember the guy. His name was Paul. Paul was a big old dude. I got it from the side of the river all the way to Forsyth Park, and we had a good old time. He hopped right up in. Some dogs are really ostentatious about it. Other times,
Yeah, well, I brought treats, so I figured she would jump right
the
in.
treats would work. Absolutely. All right, guys. All set?
I'm all set.
Perfect.
This is probably the best way to get around town. I saw people laugh when we rode by. A big Goldendoodle on the bench of a bike.
Want to see the tiniest door in Savannah? Look at this red door.
Oh, good grief.
Told you, people were smaller back then.
All these little, like that yellow house tucked back in there, all these little, they all have a different kind of charm.
Yes. Very seldom do you see driveways in Savannah. Most of them have cottage houses.
As we bounce along the cobblestone streets, Dave has stories I've never heard before.
This is the old Kehoe house. Mr. John Kehoe was our first iron worker. His iron worker plate, the actual building itself, is still here and adjacent to the pedicab shop. We get to see it every day.
Oh, wow.
This is his biggest accomplishment. He wanted to build a house out of wrought iron that he could...
That's built out of iron?
Iron, yes. All the white that you see on the outside of it is all hand-carved wrought iron.
That's pretty cool.
As we end the ride, a little haunted house story.
So this is 432 on Abercorn. Before it got refurbished and looks as beautiful as it does today, about a number of years ago, the original owner, who lived to be very old, she lived in Florida but owned the property and wanted nothing to do with it due to the nature of the story behind it. There was the original family inside. Most of them perished of unknown circumstances, but the one that I know of the little girl that was in the sunroom up top up there, and she actually was left up there and died in that room due to the sun.
Wow.
And due to dehydration and I'm not sure the circumstances surrounding how she died, but she was thought to haunt this place and pretty much anyone that walked inside of it. So
the owner didn't even want to live here?
Didn't want to live here. She lived to be very old, died recently. City bought it up and refurbished it all in about maybe 8 months. It was probably one of the fastest restorations of a building I've seen done in Savannah. But it was an eyesore, and now it's magnificent. Happy old family living inside.
As the story goes, once the city bought the house, fixed it up and sold it, the hauntings stopped. Savannah is known for stories like this and is increasingly known as a dog-friendly city. Eric Enriquez with Kempton Bryce says allowing dogs just about everywhere has paid off.
Has this really boosted your business?
It has. It definitely has, especially during COVID. I think a lot of, Savannah is kind of like a middle city between Florida and the Northeast. So we have a lot of families that are traveling, either north to south or south to north, and they obviously bring their furry friend with them. And it's been great. It's been really great to be able to welcome them and to accommodate them as well. I think just the ability to have such a transparent dog program and pet program has allowed us to really gain a lot of business and welcome a lot of guests here to this hotel.
A tip that you need to know: A lot of hotels and tours allow dogs, but many of them specify only small dogs. Here you can bring a Great Dane. Size doesn't matter, but in many other places, Jessi would not be welcome.
Well, Kimpton was one of the first brands to institute a very pet-friendly dog program. And when I say dog program, it's not really designated to just dogs. It's really pets in general. People bring cats. We've had little piglets. We've had birds. We've even had a snake here once before. But obviously dogs most often come to our hotel. And, I think Kempton as a brand just felt that pets in general are an extension to someone's family. And they wanted to welcome them as we welcome all of our guests and make it easy for them as well to travel.
Later the next day, we took Oliver Bentley's historic dog tour. Eric Zimmerman and his dog Abby were our guides, and I was intrigued with the way Savannah handles waste in historic squares.
With the 22 squares in the historic district, each has 2 of these. Little poop dispensers. Pop the lid, put it down, close it, keeps Savannah smelling fresh.
It's good for the residents too, right?
That's brilliant. All right, let's go to Chippewa Square.
On the way to the square, we made 2 stops. One at the home of a woman who founded a famous organization.
Julia Gordon Low. What's fascinating is this house, this mansion, isn't known for the builder of it, James Moore Wayne, who was a Supreme Court justice and congressman from Georgia, or the railroad industrialist William Washington Gordon. This house is known for a granddaughter that was born in the Gordon family in this house on Halloween 1860, which means she was about 4 years old when Sherman rolled into town. They named her Juliet. But as a widow, on March 12, 1912, Juliet, nicknamed Daisy, Gordon Low, she founded the Girl Scouts of America. This is her birth house. This church received its original land grant in the colony in 1755 as the Church of Scotland. When we became a royal colony in 1752, the first wave of immigrants who came over all traced their roots and heritage to Scottish Highlanders. The Macintoshes, one of the original signers of the Declaration of Independence, the Telfairs, the wealthy Telfair family, all Church of Scotland, which we know through the Reformation evolved into what we now know as the Presbyterian Church. But by the turn of the century, 1800, these Scots were the wealthiest families in town. They bought this corner lot and they built their masterpiece. But what's interesting is this church is known in town not necessarily as the Church of Scotland, founded here in 1755, or the congregation in which General Lackland Mackintosh attended. This steeple is known for the opening scene of a famous movie that was filmed here a number of decades ago now. And what was the opening scene? This steeple in a white feather, trundling through the air, floating until it lands on the ground next to a beat-up pair of Nike sneakers. And a gentleman picks up the feather, and with a box of chocolates on his lap, he starts narrating. What's the movie?
Forrest Gump.
As we enter Chippewa Square, it takes on a new meaning. This is where Tom Hanks sat on a bench with a box of candy and said, "My mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get." And this statue is seen throughout that movie.
That's the founder of the colony of Georgia, James Edward Oglethorpe. Statues with their subtle symbolism, posture, positioning, orientation. Turns out Oglethorpe laid out Savannah on a compass. That's street, that's due north, that's east, that's south, that's west. Real easy to get around Savannah on a sunny day. The river's to the north, the ocean's to the east. So which way is Oglethorpe facing? He's facing south. Why? Because in the 1730s, when he founded the colony, the British Empire's mortal enemy was the Spanish Empire. And where are they? South of here. Now the sculptor wants us to know a few things about Oglethorpe. He'll never be surprised, he's always at the ready, and he's very dismissive about how easy it's going to be to rebuff Spain if Spain comes up here. How do we know all this? Little subtleties. First, there's daylight between his index finger and his thumb on that sword. He's not white-knuckling that sword. He's not scared in the least bit. Is he facing south? Yes, but they don't have him in a Davy Crockett, Daniel Boone lookout position. He's facing south on guard against Spain, but as you can see, he's attending to his affairs. Life goes on. The sculptor has Oglethorpe's battle coat blown open to show us that underneath the battle coat, you can see he's wearing a very finely stitched and ornate top coat. Now, you don't wear a finely ornate stitched top coat going into battle. Now we know why he's wearing a wig. He's wearing his parliamentarian powdered wig, because James Edward Oglethorpe was not just a general in King George's army, he was also a member of Parliament. This is just like James Bond coming out of the ocean in a wetsuit after putting a bomb on the hull of the ship in the harbor. When James Bond comes back to shore after putting a bomb on the hull of the ship in the harbor and he unzips that wetsuit, what does he always have on underneath? A tuxedo. Oglethorpe is so confident in his abilities to rebuff Spain, he's already dressed for a session of Parliament. You don't wear a powdered wig going into a bloody battle. That's how confident he is to rebuff Spain.
Well, I will never look at a monument the same way. This is such a walkable town, and dogs are always in the squares. We ended our visit on River Street, which runs along the Savannah River. It's a great place to sit and watch the boats go by. If you're in the mood, there are plenty of restaurants that are dog-friendly, and there's always something going on along the river. It was time for us to head home, but I would definitely bring her back here.
Now I'm planning more trips, and Jessi will be in the passenger seat. We had a good time. I hope you did too. I'm Sharon Collins. We'll see you next time.
Funding for Georgia Outdoors has been made possible in part by the Imlay Foundation and from viewers like you.